Since the 1990s, the rise of autumn has been winning time for San Pedro High School football, and it all began in 1992 when the Pirates battled Taft of Woodland Hills for the CIF-Los Angeles City Section Division 3A championship. Taft drove the ball downfield on the game's opening possession and chewed up nearly half of the time before one bad snap led to the game's first big break that went the Pirates' way. It would not take long for the Pirates to strike, as on their very first play from scrimmage, quarterback Chris Pappas hit Brian Thomas with a bubble screen, and he was able to elude the defense and race past the secondary all the way to the end zone for a 70-yard touchdown, giving San Pedro a quick 7-0 lead with 5:53 to play in the first quarter. The score remained that way at the end of the first quarter, but it did not stay that way going into the second quarter, and it was all on the defense that turned the game on its head, sparked by an interception by Brian Castaneda. Just over 3 minutes later, a methodical offensive sequence culminated with Pappas hitting up Castaneda for this 13-yard score, and San Pedro had the very important 2-touchdown advantage. At this point of the game, San Pedro knew they had Taft on the ropes, and it was Castaneda that kept turning it up a notch, coming up with his second interception of the game to thwart a promising Toreador drive. San Pedro was forced to punt on their next offensive series before the Toreadors gave the ball back to the Pirates by throwing yet another interception, setting up Castaneda for his second touchdown catch of the night, this one from 7 yards away, giving Pappas 3 scoring strikes and San Pedro a 21-0 cushion. San Pedro carried that lead into halftime before the Toreadors broke free with a touchdown in the third quarter, but Mike DeMasa's short field goal in the fourth quarter proved to be the final points of the night, and as the final seconds ticked down at Gardena High School, San Pedro High School captured its first ever CIF-Los Angeles City Section football championship when it bested Taft 24-7 for the Division 3A crown. It only took 2 seasons for head coach Mike Walsh to transform the Pirates into a championship program, and he brought the Pirates back into the championship game for the second straight season in 1993, as they battled for a second straight Division 3A title, this time against the Fremont Pathfinders. After surrendering a touchdown on the game's opening drive, the Pirates defense then put the clamps down on the Pathfinders, forcing a fumble and recovered by Mike Lennox on the final play of the first quarter. 3 plays later, the Pirates answered and scored on this short touchdown run by fullback Lindsey Moore to even the score at 7. This title tilt was still neck and neck by halftime, and once the third quarter started, San Pedro seized control for the remainder of the contest, starting with this 1-yard quarterback sneak by Pappas, who was in his second straight championship game appearance as the starting quarterback for the Pirates. San Pedro's big play capability would be put to the ultimate test right away on the ensuing kickoff, as DeMasa lost his footing. But it would be the Pathfinders who were caught napping. The muff kickoff recovered by the Pirates proved to be disastrous for Fremont, but it only seemed like a moral victory for the Pathfinders when DeMasa booted in a short field goal several plays later to increase San Pedro's lead to 17-7 by the end of the third quarter. Despite giving up the field goal, Fremont still had an inner fury within themselves as they desperately tried to claw their way back into contention for winning the Division 3A title, but more trouble was lurking around the corner. A deep pass in the middle of the field was read perfectly and picked off by Lennox, who then raced to the end zone for a back-breaking pick 6 midway through the fourth quarter. After a pivotal 4th down stop, San Pedro put the championship on ice with this short touchdown run by Jeff Williams with just over 4 minutes to play in the game. And that would be all she wrote, as San Pedro successfully defended their LA City Section Division 3A title with pure second-half domination en route to a 31-7 victory over Fremont, capping off a near-perfect 13-1 season. San Pedro then made the jump to Division 4A, and 3 years later, the Pirates were playing in their second consecutive Major Division championship, 1 year after finishing runner-up by 2 points to Dorsey. The Pirates came through the tunnel of the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum for the very first time, taking on Taft in a battle of two undefeated powerhouses. Sparked by eventual City Player of the Year and quarterback Melvin Yarbrough, and an entire team that lived on the motto of losing is not an option, the Pirates continued to play nip and tuck with Taft during a scoreless first quarter. The Pirates drew first blood in this championship clash when Giuseppe Crocchiolo booted in this 27-yard field goal for the game's first 3 points. A lead San Pedro protected going into their next offensive series when Yarbrough connected with Steve Smith for this pretty pass into the back left corner of the end zone, putting San Pedro ahead 9-0. A lead San Pedro kept that way by halftime. Taft scored 2 quick touchdowns to take a 13-9 advantage at the beginning of the third quarter, but the defense, paced by Travis White, remained airtight. After stopping Taft on their third possession of the quarter, San Pedro took the lead once again on this touchdown run by Corey Smith, putting San Pedro ahead 16-13. San Pedro's defense stopped Taft again, forcing a punt, giving Yarbrough yet another opportunity to find another brand new Pirate hero.
Second down and 23. Yarbrough for O'Donnell. He's got it. Tim O'Donnell, touchdown.
That unfortunate tip by the Toreadors led to an early Christmas gift for Tim O'Donnell on this 42-yard touchdown reception, increasing San Pedro's lead to 22-13. The defense late in the fourth quarter had to make one more critical stop, and defensive end Tim Herford provided it. Taft did manage to score a touchdown on their final possession, but San Pedro recovered the onside kick, joyfully running out the clock and escaping the Coliseum with a 22-20 victory over Taft, giving San Pedro High School their first major division championship in football, their third crown of the 1990s, and the first unbeaten and untied season in San Pedro High School football history. 14 victories, 0 defeats. From that point on, San Pedro became a marked team from day one going into the 1997 season, as the Pirates overcame all but one obstacle during the regular season, before defeating rival Narbonne, third-seeded Fremont, and second-seeded Westchester as the sixth seed of the playoffs, earning their place at the Coliseum for the second year in a row with a chance to defend their Division 4A title in a rematch with Taft. Just like their encounter in 1996, the game was scoreless after the first 12 minutes, and it was the Pirates who once again struck first on a 24-yard field goal by Wilmer Moreno on the first play of the second quarter. Then on the next series, the Pirates hit Pater on this 9-yard touchdown run by Raymond Moreno out of the double wing T formation to put the Pirates ahead 10-0. Taft answered with a touchdown of their own to cut their deficit down to 3, but the Pirates went for the long ball on their next series, and it paid off.
Armstrong on the roll-up. The deep ball is caught. Parker, touchdown.
Rashard Armstrong's aerial hookup to Cable Parker for his only catch of the 1997 season went for 68 yards. San Pedro carried a 17-7 advantage into the third quarter, which was increased on this short 4-yard touchdown run by eventual City Section Player of the Year, Holman Wiggins. San Pedro's defense was as stingy as ever, forcing 3 takeaways in the final 12 minutes, sealing the Pirates' 24-9 victory over the Toreadors and a second consecutive LA City Section Division 4A crown. With this triumph, the Pirates had now won 4 championships in a 6-year span, establishing themselves as the team of the 1990s, capping off one of the more inspiring playoff runs in San Pedro High School sports postseason history and a 2-year record of 27-1. After a Division I runner-up finish in 2006, the Pirates returned to the Coliseum for a 4th time in 2008, and this one was deeply personal, as the Pirates took on Narbonne for the first time ever in a championship environment. The Gauchos won the Marine League, leading by 3 points in triple overtime and led 6-0 at halftime. On the second play of the 3rd quarter, the Pirates hoped for a break.
Fumble.
And they got one.
San Pedro football.
A misexchanged handoff was recovered by Alonzo LaFridge, putting San Pedro's offense in business early. The Pirates wasted little time in seizing both the momentum and the lead.
17-yard line of the Gauchos. Degucci, touchdown!
Joseph Degucci's 17-yard house call put San Pedro ahead 7-6, but the advantage was short-lived as the Gauchos scored 15 unanswered points to take a 21-7 edge into the 4th quarter, and they were threatening again. But then, in Mighty Mouse fashion, Corey Hughes saved the day.
This could be a real turnaround in this game. Corey Hughes finally hauled down.
Hughes' timely interception allowed San Pedro to exhale, bringing them back to within the score just 2 plays later.
With the play fake. Open receiver, touchdown!
Barry Head's perfect play-action toss to Benny Wischedel brought the Pirates to within 21-14 of Narbonne. But that would not be it for this dynamic duo.
Final play, 1 second left. Head. Blitz. Throws. Touchdown, San Pedro! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
A San Pedro crowd in excess of 10,000 went completely out of their minds when Heads hit up Wischedel in the back corner of the end zone on this 15-yard touchdown, capping off an infamous 4-play 55-yard drive that lasted the final 27 seconds of the contest without the benefit of a timeout. Donald Jaron's successful point-after-touchdown kick netted an automatic, controversial share of the 2008 CIF-Los Angeles City Section Championship, providing the Pirates their 5th City Section football title and Narbonne's first major division title as well. By virtue of the 21-21 deadlock due to the City Section not having an overtime procedure in place, the Pirates and the Gauchos both finished with identical records of 12-1-1. But on this day, the Pirates felt like they were the outright winners. San Pedro, 10 years after that amazing finish, was back in a football CIF championship game in 2018 against Dorsey, in a rematch of the 1995 Division 4A championship game, which was won by the Dons 10-8, ironically enough, at El Camino College, the site for the 2018 clash, which saw Dorsey score first. But late in the first quarter, Andres Sursa's 25-yard field goal put San Pedro on the board. Then in the second quarter came a run that truly defies description. Joshua Ward's electrifying 29-yard touchdown run put San Pedro to within 14-10 of Dorsey. Then the Pirates seized the lead with one bold pick. That crucial interception return for a score by Joshua Johnson put San Pedro ahead for good at 16-14. The score remained that way going into the 4th quarter, when the eventual City Player of the Year found pay dirt for the second time. Ward's second visit to the end zone from 2 yards out was more than enough for San Pedro to hold off Dorsey at the end, as the Pirates won 22-20, capturing their program's 6th LA City Section football title and 2nd Division I crown. This hard-earned title clinching capped off an unlikely run for the 2018 Pirates, who started off slow but closed Corey Miller's third season as coach with 5 straight victories.